All right. And we are live in a late night edition of the PWC, the Pro Wrestling Community Podcast. And it is me with my homie Eric, Easy E. Easy E, how's it going, my man?
Going good, man. Had a busy night tonight between SmackDown and Rampage, and ready to get into some of today's wrestling news.
Yes, in between that, a little bit of NFL draft, NBA games. There's a lot going on this weekend, to say the least. Um, for those that were wondering, there was no Match cast yesterday. Something came up, so Mats was not available. So we're doing our own thing, kind of filling in the gaps. So if you missed Mats this week, he should be back next week. We're just kind of doing our own thing. We're just going to talk about some wrestling from this side of the guardrail, so to speak. So since we both just kind of watched, what'd you think of Rampage overall?
Decent show. I enjoyed the Joe match. I mean, I don't think there was any doubt that Joe was going to go over in the match, but
yeah, I know as we were kind of texting as that match went before we went on here, and I was thinking, I was just gonna say, does anybody really truly think that Trent had a chance? Like, there was that one Trent fan out there that was like, yes, he's gonna win our ROH TV title. No.
Well, it was just basically to continue the Jay Lethal storyline with Joe.
Exactly. And truthfully, I don't know this to be a fact or anything. I don't see Trent Beretta. I know they call him Trent Beretta, but aka Trent now. I actually don't see him. I don't see him sticking around much longer. I don't know what his contract situation is, but
You think they'd break up the whole best friends group?
yeah. No, I don't. I just think that I think Orange Cassidy's the only one they're going to keep out of that. Because here's the way I look at it. And then I have to go tell off base, but best friends were one of those first round of signings before this first started the company, right?
Right.
And it's all their friends and all that stuff. They've evolved past those guys now. They've even with the way that they took Wheeler Yuta out of there. Chris Statlander's kind of doing her own thing. Like, Orange Cassidy's not even as popular as he once was. But out of the group, I think that's the one they'll keep. I think the other guys, now Chuck Taylor, those guys are just there now at this point. They're not really involved in any storylines or anything.
I could see him getting rid of Chuck, but Trent, I mean, he's there with Rocky Romero. They're doing their whole little tag thing.
Yeah, I know. I just think they've evolved, with the Joey Janela's, the Jack Evans, and the Marco Stuntz and some of those guys. Like, they've just evolved past some of those guys. Like, at the time they were great. Now they're just fill-ins. And considering they have so much roster to begin with, but that's just me on that rant. But yeah, Rampage was Rampage.
Yeah, definitely enjoyable. Had a good show tonight. Building up again for next week, for promoting Dynamite and Rampage. You got some interesting matches coming up next week on the AEW side.
I personally would have wished they would have cut out one match and had Darby and Swerve go a little bit longer.
Yeah, I mean, technically, I'm sure they could have gone longer, but I mean, you've got an hour show, and this was this one was took place after Dynamite last week, so.
Oh, I know. I mean, did we really need Jade Cargill and the Baddies in a 6-person tag?
Well,
no. The laugh was pretty much that. That was my answer. Thank you very much.
So you got to give Red Velvet and Kiera Hogan a little shine.
Oh God. Yeah. Well, I know we've said this before. I don't mind Kiera Hogan, even Jade Cargill to a point. I mean, she's got a character. Red Velvet's got to go. But, anyways,
she's a baddie now. She's a baddie.
Well, when I thought baddies, I was thinking bad in the ring.
Oh wow. Well, then I guess Nia Jax will be the next signee then, huh?
Well, yeah. Well, that could be another team, but I'm not going to go. Anyways, but yeah, she could be on Team. Yeah, she could be on the baddie group because she's bad. Now, hey, Jade is slowly improving a little bit, but she's never going to be a wrestler. Her size, she's got that look. She does have a look, no doubt about it, that she stands out. So, as Mach would say, look like a wrestler. She stands out. You'd notice her standing in the crowd.
Oh yeah, she's definitely definitely athletic, and she's got the look and everything. I don't know how long they're going to let her run. I mean, they're kind of building this whole 30-0 undefeated streak so far. I don't know how long they're going to let her run with it.
Good question. To me, it almost seems like she would, and I know I'm not to say this, Jade Cargill is a perfect WWE product.
She could
They'd
be,
ruin
yeah.
her, but I mean, just the way that the size, and I know she once was at the Performance Center down there, which is funny. And now she's turned into something. Now, of course, they're interested in her. Well, yeah, no shit. So, I guess to go off the Rampage front, because I mean, ultimately nothing major happened. Speaking of who they won and who they didn't want, what did you think of the releases, or did you even see?
No, I saw the list of releases that they had. I guess the one that there's a few shockers on there for me. I mean, not shocking as far as, well, no, shockers. Guys like Dexter Loomis. Granted he wasn't doing much as of late, but they built his character up, and he was definitely entertaining. So that one kind of came as a surprise. Dakota Kai. There's another one that came as a surprise.
Well, from what I've heard afterwards, it's not so much a surprise. One, she actually was expecting to be released, and two, she said she wasn't going to resign when her contract was up.
Okay.
So I guess it must have been coming up pretty soon. So,
Well, what about
like, she knew she wasn't getting called up after all those dark matches and stuff, and then they gave her that quick run with the tag titles for what, 2 nights, and then they lost the titles. Like, yeah. So I guess ultimately that one doesn't surprise me.
I guess the
I don't
other
know.
one that's kind of surprising was Harland, Parker Boudreaux. But there was reports that he wasn't adapting as fast as they would hope, from football to wrestling. I don't
Oh
know if
yeah,
those
no, I
I don't
think
know
they
if
have those
that's true or not.
contracts now where everyone's signed to like 90 days or something like that. So like
Well, here's the
they
guy they
don't
were
have.
promoting at the beginning as being the next Brock Lesnar. He had the look
Well,
and all that stuff. And then the first thing they
not.
do is they bring him into NXT is they make him shave his head and they align him with Gacy.
Oh God. Well,
So I don't know. I don't know if like you said it was just a 90-day thing or how long the contract was, but if the rumors are true that he just wasn't taking the wrestling as fast as they hoped.
let's
I mean,
truly be let's
but that's what
truly be
NXT is
honest
supposed
about.
to be, is developmental, right? So
Oh
you want to
well,
try to
yeah, well,
develop these guys.
quick developmental, but let's just be. I think and I've seen on some other shows and just how they react. I personally, and this is maybe just me. I'm not surprised by the releases. It's after WrestleMania, and it's not like they release. I mean, honestly, and this is just me. I mean, except for some of the people that maybe are just starting that were released. Like, I don't think any of those people were going anywhere on the main roster. Truly, maybe Dexter Loomis at most. They obviously didn't see something in Dakota Kai, did not keep her up. Bring her up. They brought Raquel, didn't bring her. And maybe they knew she wasn't resigning, so they why call her up. Could have been one of those deals too. But from what I saw, everybody's on a 30-day. So I think I'm almost positive Dakota Kai is going to end up. I'm not even going to say. It's not even going to say necessarily AEW. She could end up on Impact too, but she'll end up somewhere. They'll give her a chance somewhere. Could Dexter Loomis go back to Impact?
Well, he's already changed his Twitter and his, he's already gone back to to his previous name, Shaw.
Sam Shaw or Samuel
Yeah.
Shaw. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm not sure about Michael, or I don't know, or whatever his name is, Bivens.
Michael Bivens. Yeah.
Michael Bivens, yeah. Yeah, I don't know about, somebody like that, or like Persia Parada, like some of those characters, like, I don't know. I don't expect to see them necessarily signed anywhere. But I can see Dexter and Dakota Kai after that. I'm not like, oh my God, they released all these people. It's like, yeah, it sucks hey, look, it sucks for the people being released. I get that. Maybe there's someone weren't given a fair chance, whatever. But if you're gonna sign with that company, guess what? There's a chance this could happen.
Oh, most definitely.
So, yeah, like I said, losing a job is not cool, no doubt about it. But Dakota Kai could end up being better somewhere else. Dexter Loomis could potentially be better somewhere else. So in that respect, okay, yeah, they got released. Let's see where they go. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure these guys will land on their feet wherever they go. Some of them, like you said, like Bivens and Persia Parada. Who knows what's going to happen if they go back on the indie scenes? Who knows? I'm kind of in agreement though. Dakota Kai and Dakota Kai,
Dexter.
yeah, Dexter. I'm sorry. They'll
No, that's all
definitely
right.
wind back up on TV somewhere.
For sure, for sure. I know everyone right away, even I thought first, Dakota Kai would be perfect for AEW. Yeah, she'd be okay for. I don't know if she's necessarily. I mean, if she ended up there, I wouldn't be like, oh my God. I don't know if she would be such a big deal there. I don't know. Impact, I mean, they did just lose Inspiration, so they could use some more female, and they do fairly well with their female roster there.
Well,
She could.
Dakota was doing pretty good on the independent scene before she signed with NXT a few years ago. So,
Oh yeah, for sure. So, like I said, wherever she's gonna end up, she'll be all right. She'll be
oh
all
yeah,
right. And Dexter, I don't see Dexter Loomis going to AEW. I just don't.
yeah, I don't.
I'd see MLW maybe or Impact, but not AEW. Just
Right.
no.
No,
But
we're in agreement on that. I can't see him going to AEW right now.
no, for sure. I guess the backtrack, so Rampage. I guess I don't know if anything necessarily noteworthy, but what did you think of the whole Danhausen Hook?
Oh man,
I mean,
damn.
it looks like they might be in one of the team that don't like each other kind of deal.
No, they're not. No. Look, I've told you in the past, I don't get the whole Hook thing.
You're
I
not a
don't.
hooker. You're not a
No,
hooker.
no, I don't get it. I mean, what we've seen of him in the ring has been against, I don't want to call them nobodies, but nobody well established. Let's put it that way. It's been squash matches, and I understand, you got to build them up some kind of way, but I just I don't get it. I don't, I mean, is it because of who his father is? What's the appeal? I don't get it. Maybe I'm just out of touch. I just don't get it.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sold on Hook either, but he's obviously training and he's not really ready for. I don't know. He definitely resembles his dad, but his dad was bulkier, so he's got. I don't know. He's just like that cool, laid back. Like he doesn't talk, just comes to the ring, kicks somebody's butt, and that's it. I could see some of the appeal slightly, but I'm not a hooker. I'm not a hooker either. I don't hate him. I just
No, I don't hate the kid or anything. It's just I don't get. I don't get
yeah.
the
We're not
appeal.
hookers. We're not hookers.
I just don't. I don't. Like I said, maybe it's just me, and maybe I'm missing something, but I just don't get it. Maybe
I
in
don't
time,
think.
maybe in time I will. Maybe he'll grow on me, and maybe I'll be like, okay, yeah.
I guess we're too old for Hook. We got to be a
maybe
teenager to get that
maybe
Hook thing.
so,
I don't know,
maybe so.
but yeah. Otherwise, Rampage to me was Rampage. It wasn't. and I don't think they built it up like it was going to be a huge card by any means. So,
Well, like you said, the NBA playoffs going on right now, and the draft and everything, the NFL draft. I think a lot of eyes are, weren't going to be on it because of all the other stuff going on right now.
yeah, for sure. I mean, think about it. I mean, CM Punk debuted on the first episode of Rampage, so they've had their moments. But so I did not. I'll admit, I did not watch SmackDown, but I did see the news, which I don't know if it shocks. Knowing WWE, it does shock me, but not totally. I see the unification tag team title match is on hold.
Oh
If what I
yeah,
saw,
they
if
made
what
it
I saw is correct, because they made it a
a six
person
man.
tag
Yep,
match now,
yep, yep,
which
yep. That they did.
in a way I'm not necessarily disappointed with it because I think it's obviously leading towards Drew versus Roman, which is good. That's a quality contender for Roman to hold over until Cody's ready. And the tag titles, I'm kind of surprised, but um, because that's been the main storyline for weeks. They're gonna build it up. There's gonna be unification, and now they're not unifying them. So yeah, thank you WWE. You're welcome. Uh, Otherwise, I'm not sure if anything else. Though I didn't watch the show. I don't really plan on watching it. I think they had something to do with Rousey and
Yeah,
Charlotte, where it was a beat the clock kind of thing. Which
right, right.
whatever,
They had a beat
whatever.
the clock challenge between the both of them, which spoilers, Ronda Rousey won.
Oh my god, you spoiled it.
I
Oh
want to
geez,
say it was I think it was a minute and 40 seconds that she
sounds about
beat
right.
she beat Shotzi, and then
And
Charlotte.
Raquel made her debut, right?
Yeah,
I don't know if it was a match or an attack, but she debuted,
no,
right?
she was a singles match. Raquel Rodriguez now, not Raquel
Yep.
Gonzalez, which I'm pretty sure they'll drop her to just Raquel pretty soon because it seems that they drop everybody from two names to one name. So I'm sure she'll
Yeah,
be
that's
Raquel. I'm sure she'll be Raquel
yes,
pretty soon.
yeah. It seems to be a trend. It would be interesting if they named every wrestler just by one name.
I mean, Austin
Drew
Theory
versus
is now.
Reigns.
Yeah, Austin Theory is just Theory now. You know,
Ciampa's just Ciampa.
yeah, Tommaso Ciampa. Yeah, I mean,
I'm not that I'm not even disappointed by that actually. I mean, Tommaso Ciampa is the name, but just being called Ciampa is not necessarily bad. I don't necessarily have a problem with that one, but
well,
so I did not see the. Oh, go ahead.
as long as they don't change Finn Balor just to Balor or something.
It's called Finn.
Yeah, they very well
Crazy.
could.
Oh boy. No, I think his name's pretty well set, but I did not see the match. I did not watch that Level Up event. Uh, but I see that Santino's daughter made her debut tonight.
Okay, I must have missed that one earlier. I'm sure I did. It was a few.
Well, yeah, it's
few
on that NXT Level Up. I don't know where the Level Up actually shows. I don't know if that's on the network or I would think so
it
because
might
that's not
be.
on. It's not on TV. I know that much. So I didn't watch the network, but so be very curious to see. I did not watch the match, but I think her name is Ariana Grace is what she's going by. Okay,
Okay.
don't have a problem with it. So be curious to see how she's doing. Uh, yeah, I don't know what else when it comes to wrestling wise. I mean, nothing really major happened this week except for um, well, I guess if we go back to Dynamite, I suppose we could say some things happened, but
Well, if we go back to Dynamite, yeah, you the Cash and Dax FTR going up against each other. Which was a great match. I actually went back and watched it a second time just to catch some of the little things I may have missed the first go around. And I don't know if you noticed any of the kind of callbacks to Brett and Owen in the match. Some of the little sequences they were doing.
Yeah, that whole thing was definitely designed. I mean, all of that. So I mean, that was pretty cool if they got their chance. I mean, and they did tease like they would cheat maybe on each other a little bit, and anyone actually
Well, yeah,
thought, oh, they're gonna
with
break
the
up.
with
No,
the whole eye
no.
gouge thing, yeah, that was accidental. But yeah, they could have teased it to where there was be a little tension. But
They're good guys with those slight heel tendencies. It's wrestling. Hey, what did I always say? Hogan always used to rake the ass and rake the back, and he was the top face in the business. Those
don't
are
get me
heel
going.
moves. Those aren't face moves.
Exactly. Yeah,
So
don't get me going on Hogan.
what? You have something to
Hogan.
say about Hulk Hogan? Go ahead. This is we don't have any script here. Go
Yeah.
ahead. What do you got to say about the Hulkster?
I ain't got nothing to say about the Hulkster. We're gonna leave it alone. We'll leave that for another show. Don't get me
No,
going on
no.
Hogan.
Oh, no, no. You brought up the Hulkster. What do you got to say about? What
No,
do you got to say about?
you were just saying how he did heel moves as a face, and yes, he did.
Yep.
I'm still bitter over the whole WrestleMania 5 outcome. So
Yes. For those that don't know, with the Macho Man Hogan, I believe Eric was one that wanted Macho Man to thought he should have went over at WrestleMania 5.
oh yeah,
Which,
most definitely. I
as a
think
kid back then, no, I didn't want that to happen at all. But after looking back, I could see why you would think that. It would have been nice to see Mach kind of get a big win over the Hulkster. Because when I look over the career, I can't. Man, I don't know if Savage ever really beat Hulk Hogan somewhere. He
he
had
only
to have
beat him.
somewhere,
He,
but
he only beat him on a count out or disqualification. He never beat him by pinfall. Never.
yeah, and I don't even think even in WCW at the times they wrestled. He
No,
might have.
he's never beaten Hogan by pinfall. Never.
Yeah, see, what the hell? Savage is a big enough star where Hogan could have lost once. But, mm. Yeah, no, I could see the beef where you have now. Now, just thinking back at that, it's like, really? Savage doesn't have a pinfall victory over the Hulkster.
He, I think Savage deserved a heel run with the belt. And you could have
Oh,
had,
it's true. He didn't really have it. He was only the champion for like 2 months before he lost. So he was only heel for 2 months when he had it. Yeah.
yeah, and he really didn't fight anybody.
No,
But
you're right.
I'm just
You're right.
saying,
You're right.
I think, and I said this before, I think on a previous Matchcast, I think they could have had, don't get me wrong, Hogan was going to get the belt back anyway, but they could have drug it out a little bit longer. You could have had Hogan chasing the belt, you know, maybe have him lose it at SummerSlam or something. But I think he still deserved at least a small run with the belt as a heel. Having Hogan chase. I think it'd have made a better story. But that was a long time ago. So
No, it certainly was. Like I said, as a kid, of course, I didn't want to see that. But and when I think about that, to think then that the Ultimate Warrior was the first person to actually really, truly pin Hulk Hogan, and even Hogan kicked out at 3.
yeah, he kicked out at 3 1/4.
So, like, it really does make that Warrior pinning him actually really mean something for back then. Because, okay, yeah, the whole Andre thing at the main event, that was I mean, yeah, Hogan had got to count to 3, but, you know, there was some shenanigans there, and his shoulder was up. It was all storyline related. But to
Right.
think the Warrior was the first person, so in 6 years, Warrior was really the first person to actually technically pin the Hulkster. That is
Yeah,
crazy it is crazy when you look back at that, but
I remember that WrestleMania. That one kind of had everybody split. And truth be told, I was pulling for Warrior in it. But then again, like I said, I've never been much of a Hogan fan.
yeah, and then yeah, and what's ultimately funny about that, and I don't think we plan on talking about the Hulkster, but think about Hulk Hogan a little bit and how he even had said that he wanted to almost do like the Hollywood type thing at WrestleMania 6, where he wanted to, have the Warrior poses, he wouldn't pose the title and then he gets him, turns bad on him. Because the Warrior was getting pretty big amount, like it was his fans, like he wanted to turn heel then, but Vince wouldn't let him.
Do you
And
really believe that?
yeah, why not?
Oh,
Because
come on.
think about it. Hogan's run at that point. Hogan's run was starting to die down.
Yeah, but I don't believe that. That's Hogan trying to rewrite history, saying, "Oh, I wanted to do this."
Well, if it is, then yeah. But if it isn't,
I don't
I
believe
mean,
it.
it would have
Yeah.
been very interesting to see back then.
I mean,
I mean, obviously,
I don't know if
we
a
can't.
heel Hogan would have worked in a WWE or F at the time as well as it did in WCW. I don't think. I mean,
Well, no. I mean, true for that point. You're right. But I just mean at that. But and again, it's one of those things we don't know because it didn't happen. So it's hard to say back then. Would it? I don't know if it would have been as big. I don't think it would have been as big as when he did in WCW. You're right. It could
yeah,
have worked though.
the
It could have
WCW.
somewhat worked.
I don't think it would have worked. And like I said, if Hogan's claiming that, I don't believe it. I don't believe that. There's no way that Vince was going to let him turn heel. And I mean, look what happened the next year. Warrior wins the belt, but then loses it at the Rumble. It sets up the whole Slaughter and Hogan for WrestleMania. At the time the Gulf War was going on, so he had Slaughter as the
Well, Slaughter
Iraqi.
didn't keep that title very long either.
No, but they had him as the sympathizer. So of course red, white, and blue. Hulk Hogan to save the day.
Well, and that made sense for WrestleMania 7. Although, remember, there was a talk that almost they wanted it to be Tugboat at first.
Oh, Shockmaster, yeah.
You're going to call him Chic Tugboat.
Yeah, the good old days.
I would say Slaughter did the right thing, even though I know his life was threatened many times with that whole thing. Like I heard the stories about him always having to wear like a bulletproof jacket, a vest underneath his outfit because
Right.
I remember talking about them bombing the WWE office. And some people might say, "Well, damn it, I wish they would have done it."
Speaking
I
of
remember,
Slaughter, since we got him coming up, I'd read somewhere he had just signed a deal to go back with the GI Joe thing.
yeah, I did read a little bit something about that. So good for him, I guess. Way to make some money. I'm
Yeah.
sure, along with the excellence of execution, huh?
Well, that's still I guess until
It's
Bret
just a
Hart actually
merch
comes out.
deal, is from what I was told.
Yeah,
It's just
until
a
he actually
merch
comes
deal.
out and says something. Some people are saying it's a Legends deal. Some people are saying it's a merchandising deal. I guess until he clarifies it, I don't know what it is. I mean, with Bret Hart, I would love to see him at the Owen Cup Finals, but who knows if the contract restricts him from being on AEW television or if it restricts him from being on any television besides WWE. I don't know. I guess he'd have to be the one to clear that up.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? We'll find out come Double or Nothing. That's when we'll find out for sure. If Brett doesn't come out, okay, well then he obviously didn't have a deal before he could show up there. But from what I'm reading, it's AEW's understanding that legally they can't bring him in. It's the understanding I see. So, as at least as of right now, of course, that could totally change. And it could be a smokescreen. All of a sudden, Double or Nothing. Guess who's here to present? It's presenting trophies. I don't even know what the hell they're doing. Um, and I will say on the AEW front, this is the one thing where maybe I'm kind of they could do better with this. Is they announced that they're gonna do this Owen thing last year, right?
Yeah, it was a while back.
It was like October or November of last year, right? They didn't say what the rules were. They didn't say anything. And now all of a sudden they'll just have an announcement. Oh, tonight there's a qualifying match. Like what?
Well, yeah, that's just to get the guys into the tournament.
Well,
So
no, and it's not that. But I'm just saying, put up an actual bracket. Tell us who's actually going to be in. They just did it. It's like they're just picking people. Like,
Once
oh,
they
guess what?
once they get all the qualifying matches out of the way, then we'll know who's going to
Yeah,
be.
no, but I mean, announce all that so there's build up anticipation. Don't just say, "Oh, tonight there's going to be a qualifying match." No, I would like to have seen a bracket released. Okay, this is a qualifying match. The winner of this gets this. The winner of this gets that. And that's the only, like when WWE did the WrestleMania tournament, you knew, of course, it did change a little from my understanding, but they had announced who was going to be. Here, it's just all of a sudden, oh, it's like, Red Velvet versus Willow Nightingale. Like, what? And it's like you knew who was going over. It's like the qualifying matches were ridiculous. They could have made the qualifying matches mean a little something too. It's just basically it was a no name versus somebody that was going into the tournament.
Well, I mean, they've got some interesting names going in so far on the men's side. I mean, you've got and you've
Oh
got a
no. Hey, don't get me wrong. The people that are in the tournament, yes. But I'm just saying they could have made even the qualifying match be a little bit more intriguing.
well, you've got Bobby Fish, wrestling this week in the qualifying thing, and if he gets in, then all three of Undisputed will be in the tournament.
And who's your wrestler? Jeff Hardy?
Yes, Jeff Hardy. Yes.
Jeff Hardy. See, that was another clarification too. I thought the Owen Hart thing might be kind of like maybe it's something to introduce somebody, a younger guy that maybe hasn't had a chance. I think my original prediction is, oh, maybe Brian Pillman Jr. Well, it appears my thought of that can go out the freaking window. It's going to be an established star winning. I don't see Jeff Hardy winning, but see, just like that, like really, why is Jeff Hardy in this tournament? Why?
Well, I mean, they could have Hardy win and get in the tournament. Like I said, if Bobby Fish was to win, then all three of Undisputed would be in the tournament. Which
And that's probably what it's going to be because the Young Bucks aren't going to be in it. So they're looking for friction there. There you go. Oh, we made it a tournament. What did you guys do? I could see that. It's for sure leading that way to a breakup, big time.
I don't see that happening so fast. I mean, they don't let them run for a little while. Maybe when Kenny Omega comes back, maybe that'll start.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. But I mean, it's definitely going to happen for sure.
Well, hopefully they'll keep them around a little while. I kind of enjoy the group together. But then again, I was fans of them in NXT, so.
Well, yeah, and going back to releases a little bit, that whole when that Diamond Mine first started, they had all those people. Roderick Strong's the only one left.
I know, yeah. And honestly, I'm surprised that he hasn't been released yet.
I've said that I think on the Matchcast a couple times too. I was like, or maybe you privately, like, I'm surprised. I'm so surprised he's still there. Like he doesn't fit their mold anymore. I think he's about 40 years old. So he's already too old for the main roster. He's not getting called up. He's not a small guy, but he's not the biggest guy either. Like he's not going to end up on the main roster. He just isn't. If he hasn't been called up by now.
No, I don't think he'll be called up. And if he does get called up, it'll just be as an enhancement talent.
Yeah, and what it'll be called, strong.
I don't know. You never know.
Roderick. I mean,
but just the fact that now this may be the only reason why he's still over there. The fact that all the other three Undisputed members are over in AEW, and his wife is over in AEW. That might be the only reason.
Are over there.
That might be the only reason why he's still there. Is they don't want to release him, is because they know where he's going to go.
Well, true, but it's in a way this is all WWE's fault to begin with. They didn't have to release Adam Cole or not sign him. They didn't. I guess they did try, but I mean, you know what I mean, like. Pitch was making Keith Lee's manager.
That pitch was enough to make him want to stay.
Yeah, they helped create AEW in some ways. And no, they're not working together as our counterpart Mach would think. Oh, maybe there's some. They're definitely not working together like that. No,
No, I don't think.
definitely not. But they did have something to do. I mean, WWE just being the way that they are helped create AEW for a new place and gave people a place that didn't want to stay with that company anymore. I mean, look at that. Moxley, Danielson, Cole, a
Jericho.
lot, Jericho. So, I mean, there's a lot of different, I mean, it helped create AEW in a lot of different ways.
I mean,
But,
Cody, even though he wound up back, Cody.
yeah, Cody. Well, I know I sent this earlier today. Speaking of Cody, he's going to be a guest of the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast next week on Smoking Skull Sessions.
Yeah, I saw that announced too. On the I think it was on Twitter. I saw it. Uh, I'm looking forward to that interview as well.
Because they will talk about other companies on that show.
Oh yeah, they've already
Now,
said
again,
that.
I don't think Cody's going to say, "Oh, Tony Khan's a piece of crap,"
Oh
or
no, he won't
he's
badmouth
not going to
them.
bash them at all. But maybe we'll learn something new. I don't think so, but
I'm interested to see the interview. I mean, Austin's got a way of kind of pulling things out of people. His interview style. Um, there might be a few things, maybe a few new things we learn, or maybe there'll be a little more details released. But I'm definitely
yeah,
looking forward to that. The last one he did with Bully Ray was a real good interview.
yeah, no, I liked it. His last couple of, I mean, not that any of them have really been bad, but the last few he's done have been pretty good overall. So I can't really complain. But be very curious to see what Cody has to say. I think a lot of people will be tuning in for that because some people are going to think, "Oh, why isn't he bashing AEW? Why isn't he doing this?" Because
Mm,
he's
No, I don't think he's gonna bash him, but maybe
even
we'll.
if there is some bad blood there, he's not gonna. They're not gonna. No, no.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe we'll find out a few more details as to what led to the split.
Well, I don't think they'll ever admit it. It has to be money has to play a major factor. There just has to be. And how much are they paying him? I'd love to know. I really would love to know that Cody contract. I don't know who will ever get their hands on that. Maybe my buddy. I'm not going to pronounce the name, but maybe he's got the contract details. Sorry, I don't follow you on Twitter anymore, douchebag. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what Fightful might report, but I can't.
Oh, Fightful.
But I don't.
Hey, I'm good. And about Fightful, there's some good people on there, but anyways, yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know what they signed him for. I think we discussed this in the past too, though. Cody's going to get a nice little push to start, but I don't know how long he signed for. I mean, originally they said a multi-year deal, so is that 2 years, 3 years? Who knows?
Well, how old is he? 36, I think.
I'm not
Going on
sure.
37. He said he wanted to retire by the time he was 40. So if he's 36, 37, I bet you it's a 3-year deal, at least wrestling wise. Maybe he's got a deal for something else afterwards. Don't, he says he doesn't want another office job, and I don't think he'd be working for there. But who even knows who's going to be running WWE in 3 years?
Well, like I said, Cody's going to get his push to start, and I brought this up to you before. Do you really honestly see him beating Roman? I don't.
I don't know when, but yes.
You think he will? I don't see it. I just don't see it.
Well, who
I
else is
think
he going to beat for the? Who else is he going to beat for the championship? There's only one champion,
that's a good question. Who? Who are they gonna?
and
I
I
just
don't. And I think if Cody wins, he's not going to be the unified champion. They're going to do something stupid. Because
so
do we
those
honestly think they're going to keep the unified champion the idea for long?
they should. I think they should. And I've
I
mentioned this
agree.
on the Matchcast before too. I think there should. I think there should only be one world champion. I think there should only be one tag team champions.
And I agree with you. I
You
agree with you.
elevate that way. You elevate the IC belt and the US belt, keep those on separate brands, and have your world champion float between both shows. Maybe he can be on Raw for a few months and feud with one of their top stars. And then when that feud's over, he bounces up over to SmackDown and feuds with one of their top stars. You keep them bouncing back and forth. That way,
I
the
personally
IC
think they
belt.
should do that with the women's title too.
Sure,
Honestly,
sure. That way, the IC belt means something again. The US title will mean something. You don't have 25 belts. You get one world champion, one tag team champion, float them back and forth, and make used to be way back in the day, the IC belt was kind of like the number one contender, so to speak.
no,
He was like the
no.
next
Wait,
guy.
so was the U.S. title. So was the
Yeah,
U.S.
he was
title
the
in
next. He was the
WCW.
next.
So.
Yeah, he was the next guy in line that could possibly challenge for the world title. I think they need to go back to that. Like I said, one world champion, have him bounce back and forth between both brands, keep the IC belt on one show and the US title on the other, make that their main titles, and just play it like that.
Yeah, of course, this is our fantasy booking, but knowing Iowa, they're going to create a third heavyweight championship and another title. That's just what they like to do. But yeah, I don't think the Cody thing is very interesting. If it's going to stay one championship, that would probably lower my chances. But somewhere, Cody is winning the championship. I don't know if
Unless
he's beaten Roman. I don't know how he's doing it, but he's going to win one of the championships. They're going to do. It's all Dusty Rhodes storyline. They're going to do this.
unless they do it like kind of like what they did with the NWA title, where he held it for a month or so, and then
Hey, I didn't say Cody's going to hold the title for a year.
no,
I
I
just said he's
know
going
that.
to win the title.
I know that,
That's all
but
I
I
said.
mean, I guess they could swerve us and have him beat Roman, but I really don't see that. I mean, the way Roman's been on a tear, just defeating everybody, I just can't see Cody coming in and beating him.
Well, somebody has to beat him though,
Yeah, somebody does. Somebody does.
and it ain't going to be the great one.
Well, that's what they're going to build to. That's what they're trying to build.
I'm actually not so sure about that anymore.
There's been a few teases.
Yeah, not enough. But
Uh, well, I
so
guess
let's be honest. Okay, let's say Roman is the champion. Let's say it's not Rock and Roman at WrestleMania next year. Who is it?
I don't know because the way they've been leading or the way they kind of trying to lead you to it, you're thinking it's going to be Rock. But I guess it
But
all
if
depends
it's
on. I guess all
but if
depends on
it's
his
not,
schedule.
who's who's a contender? Who's a
I
serious contender for Roman if it's not Rock?
I
Take
don't
the
know. He's
Rock out. Let's say that match doesn't take place next year. Let's say it won't be Brock and Roman again because we've seen that plenty of times. Who is it?
That's a good question. I don't know because he's beating everybody.
Exactly. So that's why I say sooner or later he has to lose somewhere. I'm not saying that person is going to be ready. I mean, could it be Braun Breaker being against Roman Reigns next year? Kind of that up and coming guy. That would be a way to establish a star. Um, maybe he's got to get called to the main roster first, which actually I'm surprised it hasn't happened already. But
You know who it
and
could be? You know who it could be? Randy Orton. Could be Orton.
well, I'm a huge fan of the Viper. I'd like to see that. I wouldn't mind seeing that. You'd
You're
have to
saying
break
you
up the RK Bro team,
yeah, but
which,
you're saying who could do it? Well, I think Orton could do it.
but
Would they let him
okay, if
do
you're
it?
breaking up the tag team, who's the heel in the tag team? Because if they break up the tag team, they have to feud first.
I haven't thought that far out. I'm just saying. You asked who could you see beating him or who could beat him. I threw
Oh
Orton's
yeah,
name
no,
out there.
okay, yeah, not respect, yeah, okay, yeah, Randy. It looks like they're gonna do Drew and Roman soon. not the pay-per-view, but the
They
next one
they were
probably.
they were supposed to do that at Backlash, WrestleMania Backlash, but now it looks like it's going to be a 6-man.
So it definitely won't be Drew at WrestleMania next year. I mean, I guess anything could still happen, but I don't see that. So I mean, yeah, I mean Orton, Cody. I mean, uh,
I think he would
needless
be
to
the
say,
best
go ahead.
if Rock doesn't come through. I think Orton might be your next best bet.
And I wouldn't be disappointed in that like I said, as an Orton fan. And I don't know if Orton and Reigns have really they've never really had a program against each other, single program at least, anyways. So I could buy that. Or do they make Riddle a quality contender? You know, there's rumor that he was supposed to win the Royal Rumble this past year.
Well,
He was talked about, at least, I should say.
why not let him win Money in the Bank then? I don't think he'd have a chance. Anyway, no,
Yeah,
if
I know it's a lot of what ifs.
right,
But I'm just saying in general, like it's
yeah,
interesting to talk about because I mean, we truly don't know, and a lot could happen. Roman Reigns could get injured tomorrow, and then that's it. I mean, you know, okay, Walter, is he going to be a contender?
ooh, there you go.
I
Hmm.
mean, but although it seems like they're doing more of a tag kind of thing, right, with him and I don't know the guy's name now, but
Ludwig,
Marcel.
Ludwig.
Oh, Ludwig Borga's back. Jesus Christ. Uh,
Yeah, they didn't change his
Ludwig
name.
Borga. He was the guy that beat Tatanka's undefeated streak, wasn't he?
That sounds familiar. I'd have to double check that. I'm not sure.
Well, let's double check that because I'm curious as we speak.
Yeah, but they did change his name to Ludwig. So
Tatanka's first loss. He suffered his first television defeat, losing to Ludwig Borga.
okay, there you go. Very good. Dennis gets the
Borga
gold
hit
star.
Tatanka in the back with a steel chair while Mr. Fuji distracted the referee.
Oh, okay, it had a little Fuji in there.
October 30th, 1993. So there you go. Wow. Mr.
Got your his,
Fuji was Ludwig's manager? That's a weird
got
combination.
your history lesson.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure I knew it was Ludwig. I didn't know the year. I didn't know Mr. Fuji was a damn manager. That's an odd pairing, but because I mean he was the foreign menace, but ugh, brutal. Jeez, tough times in the early 1990s for WWF. That 1993 when Tatanka and I think we're looking at the IRS days and Doink and Crush, the blue and orange kind of Crush, not the other versions of Crush we got.
Right, right.
But yeah. But anyways, I know we were going on a dynamite kick and then we kind of went way off into the Brett side of the WWE and all that. But
Well,
yeah,
hey,
Dynamite.
kind of
Dynamite was a good show.
going on a fly here. You know, we don't have a script we're working with.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, we should really call this unscripted because we don't need a script, brother. We just for
If
anyone that would ever listen to me and Eric talk offline, this is usually pretty much how it goes.
I, th-
We'll
I think we just think we decided 5 minutes before we went on. Hey, let's go on.
yeah, well, filling in some of that time space. So for anyone that's listening, yes, we did not advertise this. Didn't know. Just I'd like to do more of these anyways. Just talk some wrestling without. Yeah. Anyways, but yes, this is how we go. We're unscripted, brother.
Very much so. Very much so. We
Unlike WWE, we are unscripted.
don't have a format and don't have topics. We just whatever's shooting in our heads. We usually say.
Yes, exactly. So yeah. No,
But
AEW's doing good.
I was about to say, jumping back to what we were talking about before, as far as what could happen with Roman. There you go. I threw Randy Orton out there. If Rock doesn't work out, Randy Orton. That's who I think. If the Rock doesn't happen for WrestleMania, I think it'll be Orton.
And then here's also another question with this. Okay, let's say it is The Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Rock isn't beating him at WrestleMania, so who's after? Who's next to? That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, it could get to the point where they are running out of challengers, credible challengers, which is WWE's fault.
Do you think that they would bring Rock in just to lose to Roman?
Yes.
Do you think?
I think the Rock would want that.
That was my next question. So, do you think Rock would want that?
You never know the Rock's schedule. He does too much stuff now, so he can't dedicate a title reign.
Oh, right.
Or anything.
He never come back for months on end, and run with the belt or anything. No.
So if he's coming in, yeah, it's to put over his cousin, no doubt about it. Establish him. He's already established, but beating the Rock would be, I don't know if they'd shake hands afterwards or what kind of the deal is, but yeah, if Rock comes in, he's doing the job big time for big bucks, but he's doing the job, no doubt.
Well, there was reports after Stone Cold's match that he said if they called for 39, he'd answer. So,
oh Jesus, we're not going to see Stone Cold versus
Roman. Can you see Roman beating The Rock, and then as he's acknowledging him, the glass breaks, and here comes Austin.
Oh jeez. Hey, look, I give Austin credit. He was in the ring. He took more bumps than I thought he was going to do.
Yeah.
Outside the ring, inside the ring, he did more than I thought he would do. Don't press your luck.
Right. No, I don't think he'd be in the title picture by any means. But
well, not even that. But don't wrestle. If you want to do an appearance and stun somebody, yes, I'm all for that. But like Sting's doing a lot of dives off stuff. He's got to be careful. He's doing, it's all pretty well protected for the most part. But
man,
once say something messes up, man.
I'll tell you, those jumps he's doing, every time he climbs, I get nervous because they're not as steady. He's not as steady footed as he was, and you can see a lot of times when he's up there that he's a little bit off balance, or like the last one he did, he climbed up, and it's like as soon as he hit the top, he just dove off. You can see.
Oh yeah, because he doesn't have it anymore. It's like he's got to jump as soon as he's up there.
Yeah,
because his balance is.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Agree.
You can see he didn't have that balance. Like, man, every time he climbs up there, I get nervous. I'm like, dude, you are 62 years old. You don't need to be diving off of stuff. If you still want to perform,
he already has spinal stenosis and all that.
If you want to perform, that's great. But man, he's taking a chance. He's taking a big chance.
Well, and that's why I say even with Austin, Austin won't take chances like that. But still, like he doesn't. Austin doesn't need to. He doesn't need to wrestle anymore. He got his one last match out of there. Okay, great. And if he wants to have another one, sure, I understand. I get it. But like, yeah, when I look at him, I look at Sting, and it's like, again, I know he's diving on a lot of people, so he is protected pretty much. But what if he does slip? What if somebody doesn't catch him properly? A lot of accidents do happen. It's not ballet. They could be even stuntmen go wrong. So I understand he obviously loves wrestling to still be even wanting to do this stuff. Because I guarantee you, nobody's telling you, "Hey, Sting, do you want to jump off?" And he's just like, "Okay." He's got to obviously want to do it,
right?
So, and who's going to tell him no? He obviously loves wrestling to the point where, I'll dive off shit. I'm 60-some years old with spinal stenosis. Who cares? But man,
Well, how long before Darby turns on him?
That's a very interesting pairing. I'm surprised they kept them together as long as they have, because they've been together almost since at least what 2 years now, just about year and
However
a half.
long, however long Sting's been with the company.
Well, that was in October, November, December of. Was that during the pandemic, or was that last year? Oh no, no, that wasn't last year. So it was during the pandemic. So I remember he remembers that winter is coming. It was like in December.
Right. Yeah. Right. That was 2020. Correct.
So yeah, so it's been about 14, 15 months. So yeah, they've been together through that whole thing. Um, I don't know. I don't think Darby's turning anytime soon though.
No, but I mean, eventually, I guess if Sting doesn't go off into Walker goes off into the sunset, I guess sooner or later they'll have to do something, and you know, I guess they could have Darby turn on him.
Well, and Sting's another one too. When they signed him, I didn't expect Sting to be on TV every week, and he isn't every week, but pretty damn close to it.
Oh yeah, he's definitely getting his television time. That's for sure.
So I mean, they're getting their money's worth out of the Stinger,
I
to
don't
say the
mind him on
least.
there. It's like I don't mind him on there. I don't mind him in the matches. Like I said, but just some of the moves he does, man. I'm like, you do not need to be doing that. You don't have to prove anything to anybody. You don't have to climb up and dive off of stuff. We know.
Yeah, yeah,
Gets up
oh
there.
for
He
sure.
gets up there and he just makes me nervous. I'm like, oh man, he's gonna get hurt.
Yeah, no, totally. But yeah, AEW. Like I said, there's still some little things that they do right and there's some are wrong, and a few things they do really good in. Um, well, like I said, they could have did different things with the Owen Hart tournament a little bit. Like I said, when you do qualifier, and there was a couple of qualifiers that were actually it could have went either way, so they did mix it up some. But I would like to see actually announcements. You knew who was already in the tournament before it started. It just seems like to me they're just kind of like, oh yeah, let's just throw Adam Cole in the tournament. Like all of a sudden, like he's in a storyline. I would just put him in the tournament. Like I would like to kind of see ahead of time, but it's not the end of the world. It's just again, we can nitpick on all kinds of shit. Pardon my language, but a lot of things. Just like I did not like the ladder match that much. Yeah, Scorpio and them they did some big spots, but I heard them calling a lot of spots. And then when the women get into it, I saw a few missed spots, and it's like, oh boy, here we go. I know you liked it for some reasons. For those that know, Eric is a Tai Conte fan, big time. I don't hate her. I'm just not a fan of hers as much as I am others, I guess. But I guess I'm just indifferent. I do like the pairing. This making out thing.
Yeah,
People get grossed up. But that's the heat. There you
I
go.
was about to say, yeah, they're kind of taking that a little too far. But I mean, I understand why they're doing it. Um, they, I, I guess they tried to keep it quiet, their personal lives, but
Yeah, well, that didn't
but
work.
with the fans, the fans, I guess, intruding or whatever, constantly digging for information and giving them crap about, about his former relationship and calling her a home wrecker and this and that. I guess they figured,
But he
look,
was
if
still
he's
getting cheers for a while, though.
no, but I mean,
So
I guess they figured, hey, if we're gonna get this abuse, let's just go ahead and play it out, and that's what they're doing. They're giving the fans what they wanted. Maybe the fans shouldn't have been digging into their personal lives, but
yeah, that's wrestling fan nowadays. Jesus. Um, yeah, and we kind of do our own digging, I guess, on certain things sometimes too. So I mean, everyone's kind of at fault, but um, like I said, I compare them to Edge and Lita, not the same storyline wise, and that, but just that they're making out doing, they're not doing any live sex shows, at least not yet. It's getting there.
well, I mean, hey, they had their little Twitter thing a couple weeks back where they had the picture of them with the belt. They kind of had things blurred out. So
Yeah. Makes me wonder how much of it's for show and how much of it's really for real. I think it's
Oh,
probably pretty for real, actually.
yeah, no, they're definitely together.
I think it's pretty much for real. But I do see the vibe. Like I said, it has a little bit of an edge and Lita kind of not a, I don't know, not exactly, but I could see the relation a little bit. And like I said, yeah, people are disgusted by the making out. Well, guess what? That's part of the heat right there. That's to get fans to hate them. Some people like it. A lot of people like no, not boo, and then they're getting booed. Like I'm kind of surprised they're getting booed so much, but they're
Well,
obviously going with it now. So
yeah, what was interesting with that ladder match is leading up to that, you got Scorpio and Ethan Page and Dan Lambert. These guys were getting major heat. They come into
now
this,
they're getting cheered.
yeah, they come into this match, they get cheered. They get Sammy and Ty together, and they start making out, or she comes in and interferes, and boy, she laid a good one in on Lambert. I'll say that kick looked pretty good. That low blow she gave him looked like it delivered.
Yeah, no.
But you got these guys who are getting booed out of the building, put them in with Sammy and Ty, and boom, now they're getting cheered.
Although I think the Scorpio Sky getting cheered is going to end very quickly. I see him and Kazarian getting into it.
Well, yeah, he promised Kazarian the first shot if he
Oh,
got
but I
the belt.
mean,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
could
because
that could be a peaceful match, or that could be let's beat up Kazarian after the match kind of deal, and let's get our heat back kind of deal. Um,
it could be, but either way it goes, if they have their match, it should be a really good match.
oh, I agree. Kazarian should not be winning that championship. Scorpio needs to keep that title for at least till Double or Nothing at this point. Somebody's going to keep the title for more than 2 weeks. The hot shot in that title so much, but
There was
well, they really do. Oh, go ahead.
Sam, and I was just gonna say, you talking about the title. Sammy Guevara was on his Twitter and apparently had saw footage of a young Sammy fan that was very upset that he lost the belt, and he had tweeted out, "I'll get it back, big little guy," or whatever. So there's some footage of this kid watching, and he's cheering Sammy on. And when Sammy lost, he went ballistic. He started crying, and he was very upset.
I'll
And
take it. This is an actual kid, right?
yeah, no, it's Sammy put it on his Twitter. I guess he
Was a
saw it.
grown man?
No,
Was a
no, this
grown
is a
man
child. No,
crying?
this is a child.
Oh, okay. Well, that's where I was going with that.
Yeah, and he was
So
like, he's like, sorry, little guy or little man or whatever. I'll get the belt back soon. So
that's still cool though. That what, and that's what I miss as a fan. When I was wrestling, I didn't know anything about wrestling like this. You know what I mean? And it's like it was fun back then because you didn't know. Like it was Iron Mike Sharp versus Coco Beware. Like we pretty much knew Coco Beware was always going to win, but you didn't know that back then. I mean, you kind of knew when you look back at, but ultimately you didn't know. And you're like, oh yeah, they're gonna have a match. And you're like, oh, I hope Hulk Hogan doesn't lose this week, or I think ultimately you knew he wouldn't, but still, like it was still real. And for kids to at least still have that, really disappointed that Sammy lost. Like that's
yeah,
the innocence of a kid still. That's
this kid was probably about 7 years old, maybe 6, 7. I don't know. I'm guessing. And when when Sammy lost, that poor kid, he started crying. He was upset.
yeah, that's something else. But that's like I said, that's cool though that kids still,
Yeah, it's kind
that's
of
that innocence where they don't know, they don't
yeah.
follow wrestling. I mean, they follow the guys, but they don't look up, or the parents don't allow them or whatever. But it's I was gonna say if it was a grown man crying,
Oh,
um,
it's kind of the same. It took me back to my youth. Kind of the same reaction I had when Hogan beat Savage at WrestleMania 5. I was a little upset like that too. So
I don't recall ever crying watching a wrestling match.
nah, I never cried watching a match. I may have cussed a lot. or broke something, threw something down in anger. But I
I don't
never.
think I ever I don't think I ever broke anything either. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
I may have had something in my hand and threw it down on the ground, and
like I hate snakes, right? But like even when Jake the snake was biting Savage, I think I turned away, but I didn't cry. Or I wasn't upset. I just kind of, oh, like I don't want to watch this snake. Um, of course, then it's funnier now. Well, not funnier, but when you know the backstory nowadays, and you didn't know. Oh, Jake had to get bit first before that happened, or the snake wouldn't let go, and Vince sends Piper down there to get the damn snake off. The snake wouldn't get off, and he sends Elizabeth down there because Piper can't get him to get the snake off. The snake didn't want to let go, and it's like
hell, Piper
when you
was
watch
scared of
as
the
a kid,
snake too.
oh yeah, yeah, I know. So it was one of those deals where it was kind of like, what the hell? But like back then, we didn't know that was the case. We just thought, oh, maybe they're really here to help Savage, where it's, that innocence, like I said, as a kid, you don't know. Then
The
to
only
find
thing I
out,
said, the only thing I said for that instance was that I said, "You can't tell me that's fake. That snake is biting. That's not fake. There's nothing fake about that."
yeah, there was when there was blood right away. There was no fake. There is no fake. But I did hear that it did get edited for TV. That the snake was on him actually a lot longer than what it was. I don't think that they shortened it up a little bit.
I'll tell you what. I remember watching it when they showed it. I think it was like on Superstars, and I'm sure they edited it, but man, it seemed like it took forever. It seemed like that snake was on him for a good
Yeah, it
while.
sure did. That was like what, Saturday mornings.
Yeah, Saturday or Sunday morning, however they ran
you
it
you
in
eat
the
your
syndication.
Cheerios, watch your cartoons, and you turn wrestling and see a snake freaking biting Savage. Jesus,
Yeah,
I'm surprised they let that go because I remember when Ron Bass got Brutus Beefcake that time, and they put a big X. I mean, you could still see a little bit of blood, but they put that big X on the screen because Brutus was pretty busted open for that too.
I want to say they did go back when they showed the footage after the initial run. I think they did kind of have the little censored X or a censored block or whatever they put over it. I kind of remember that too. But actually, that led into the whole Tuesday in Texas pay per view, which I was one of the people that bought that pay per view because I wanted to see Savage get his revenge on Jake the Snake.
Yeah, no, I just think about some of the major incidents on TV where they kind of like blood wise. I mean, it's funny how some stations they let go and some of them have to black out. Like I remember before WrestleMania 3, and they had on Saturday Night's Main Event they had a battle royal, and Andre nailed Papa with a headbutt, Savage's brother, and he was bleeding huge right away. I don't know if he bladed in that. I never saw one, but he was bleeding pretty bad. And that was on TV. But at that time that was Saturday nights at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. So that wasn't so bad. Because that's late night TV. So I mean, really, the kids should be watching, but I was watching.
Hmm.
My dad would be asleep, and I'd be watching Saturday Night's Main Event.
I don't
I'm
remember
like,
that
Dad,
match
yeah, it was. Oh my God.
leading up to WrestleMania 3. I don't remember that one.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Because that was their first confrontation, kind of before the confrontation, and I believe that Saturday Night's Main Event was actually taped in Detroit too, which is actually ironic. Let me look that up now because I want to make sure my facts are correct. I'm not sure how I'm going to find this because there's a lot of Saturday Night's Main Event. WrestleMania, so that was 87 or 88.
80.
WrestleMania 3.
That was 87.
Okay. This is good. This might take a minute to find. What was I looking up? Oh yeah, okay. The infamous. Oh boy, history events. Okay, so 85, 85, 86. Yeah, funny. So this is the one. It was actually taped February 27th, 1987 from Detroit, Michigan. So they had a Saturday Night's Main Event like a month before WrestleMania in the same city, which is kind of interesting. Hold on, let me look at the card. So it was, where's the card? Wikipedia is not my friend tonight. Uh, shows the event. I'm looking for the results. Sorry, everyone. I'm really. Why is it not showing results? You son of a. You son of a. Shit. It's not showing the results. Oh, results. Sorry. Oh, I see. They got a different category for results. Um, 86. 86. Sorry, this is. There's a lot of Saturday Night's Main Events, so it's. I want to make sure I get the right one. I almost remember the card. All right, so it was Macho Man defeating George Animal Steel for their Continental Championship. King Kong Bundy defeated Jake the Snake Roberts. The Hart Foundation defeated Tito Santana and Dan Spivey. Wow. And Ricky Steamboat defeated the Iron Sheik.
Okay,
So
there's a
the battle.
20-man battle royal. Okay.
Yeah, Honky Tonk Man was in there. Sika, Haku, Lanny, Ron
Axe,
Bass, Blackjack Mulligan,
yeah, Axis,
Nikolai.
the Killer Bees,
Yep.
Hercules. I'm looking at the card too now.
Billy Jack, Butch Reed, Tama Coco. It was a 20 man, but I know there was a part, it was like, almost halfway through the card, or halfway through the Battle Royal. He got Lanny, he gave him a headbutt, and he threw him over the top rope, and Lanny was busted open big time right away. I know, because actually Andre threw out Hogan in that Battle Royal, actually.
Okay, I'm reading here. It's right before that happened. Andre tosses out Haku, and then headbutts and tosses Pafo. It says here Pafo does a blade and stretcher job to sell the headbutt.
Well, maybe they cut out where he bladed, because they sure didn't see it on TV. So, and that was at the Joe Louis Arena. So that was. See, that's how funny too. They taped it February 21st. It aired March 14th, and that was like 2 weeks before WrestleMania, 2 or 3 weeks. So now we're done this. Now we're done with this. I'm going to watch Saturday Night's Main Event on the part of my language, people. The cock, as some people call it, the Peacock channel. I know they got Saturday Night's Main Events on there, but yeah, that's the first one I remember being able to stay up for. My dad passed out, and I was like, "Oh, I'm watching Saturday Night's Main Event." Because that was like right after the news. It was like 10:35 or something like that. So
Actually, yeah, it doesn't look like a bad card. I'm sitting here reading what was all on it, and yeah, that actually does sound like a good one. Maybe we should do a watch along of some of these on one of these things here. We can do a watch along, have it playing in the background, and comment
a
on what
Saturday Night's Main Event
on what's going on. Yeah,
segment, huh? That would be kind of interesting.
I
Maybe
mean,
we'll have to, yeah.
we don't have anything on screen, but I mean, we could say, okay, if you guys want to watch along, start it up. Here we go, 3, 2, 1, or whatever, and hit play, and then kind of watch along and call the action as we're watching it.
Yeah, that would be something, because I think there's even a couple of these that I never actually maybe watched fully. So it actually would be kind of cool. And since they are bringing back Saturday Night's Main Event, but it's just the name of their Saturday shows, the live shows. They're calling it Saturday Night's Main Event or some shit. Uh, boy, tell how times have changed. The first rating for the first ever Saturday Night's Main Event was an 8.8. Raw only does like I think under 2 now. Hello? Hello. Uh-oh. Sure if he muted his mic. Oh, he left. That's some of
Hello.
welcome back, brother.
Sorry, I don't know what happened.
No, that's all right. No big deal.
No, I was just saying how Saturday night's main events, those were big deals back in the day. Usually they were hyping up the pay-per-view or some big event that was coming up. So
Well,
those were special back in the day, man. I can remember
well.
looking forward to seeing those.
Oh no, me too. Oh, as you're cutting out, I was actually saying. So the first episode of Saturday Night's Main Event did an 8.8 rating.
Well, I believe it. I believe it. Like I said, those were the ones you were looking for. Going, okay, when are we gonna have another one? Those those were special back in the day.
Now I know times have changed for people and stuff, but for anyone that's listening, Raws don't even do twos. I don't think anymore. And I don't know how they count that rating. I don't know how they do the calculations, but I think like an 8.8 is like 40 million people or something like that. It's a crazy number. I don't know how they get them, but you also have to remember back then there was only maybe 12 different channels you got. So your options at 10:30 at night were not you know what I
Well,
mean?
cable TV was around. I mean, but it's not like it was. It's not like it is today, where you got 500 channels.
Yeah, not at the beginning, not like now. So I mean when you see an 8.8, it's like yeah, if that's 30, 40 million people, that's almost half people or so that had TV because what else were they going to watch on a Saturday night? If it wasn't Saturday Night Live, it was Saturday night's main event. That was your Saturday night. You know, some channels after midnight it became infomercials. So, or the TV station would die after like midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, something like that.
Oh, you
So
go way back in the day. Yeah, I can remember
that's
those.
what I'm saying. But to see 8.8 rating, it's like Raw, I'll tell you, Raw or AEW, any wrestling show today would love that rating. That would be huge. Will never happen anymore, but that's crazy. But I do agree. We have to. I think we have to start doing some watch-alongs because how often do you get to see Junkyard Dog versus Pete Doherty on a Saturday night's main event?
Well, those are like I said, those are so old. As far as going back that far, it's not like it's fresh in your mind. And
Or freaking Uncle Elmer versus Jerry Valiant?
eh, hey man, it was entertainment back in the day.
I don't. I'm just saying. Or the dream team of Brutus Beefcake and Greg Velvet versus Lanny Poffo and Tony Gurria.
Tony Gurria, yeah, former tag champion. I remember Tony Gurria.
So that's just. I'm just saying for some of these Saturday Night's main events. See, I don't recall Ricky Steamboat versus Mr. Fuji in a Kung Fu challenge.
There you go. See, that sounds interesting.
So see, there are some I have not seen. So wow, when you look at the times in some of these matches, I swear they seem longer on TV. But I see 4 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. So in some cases, for people that say there's short matches on Raw, there were some short matches on Saturday Night's main event. What? See, here we go. Now I know we're gonna have to watch. King Kong Bundy defeated Steve Gatorwolf. Who the? If
Okay.
anyone could tell me in the comments below without googling, who the hell is Steve Gatorwolf?
I
Who the hell
remember
was that?
I remember Stephen Little Bear. but I don't remember a gator wolf.
So for all those people, I'm about to Google that. What? Okay. Oh, I've also seen some bad news about this guy. Uh-oh. He also went under the name the Masked Zodiac and Stephen Nathaniel Ketcher. He was a high school dropout. He was regulated jobber status. Yeah. Oh, well, okay. Well, following his WWF tenure, began promoting wrestling events in the southwestern United States and American Indian tribal lands, and was arrested in Utah in 2008 for illegal fight club promoting. Yeah, this guy has served some time. Oh, okay, so this guy was not a good man. On May 8th, 2014, turned himself into the Sheriff's Department of Florida. He was on a warrant issued for 7 felony counts of sexual assault of a child
Good Lord. Okay.
and sexual
Enough.
assault of a 15-year-old girl who was the daughter of his friend.
Enough about that guy. Bundy deserved to squash him.
Yeah, you know what? That was about 20 years before all this happened. But so for anyone, Steve Gatorwolf, this man was not a good man. I mean, everyone makes mistakes, but yeah, he was not a very good man. So for those people wondering who the hell Steve
I'm
Gatorwolf
more
is,
interested. I'm more interested in the Ricky Steamboat, Mr. Fuji Kung Fu match. That one got my attention.
yeah, no. And if you go on YouTube and you'll look up the channel is called Old School Wrestling TV. It's
And you know
got
something?
Steve Gatorwolf versus King Kong Bundy.
It'd probably be better to watch them on YouTube because at least then you get the original music and everything else.
Oh, and then it also look under that. If you look into vintage wrestling, Macho Man Randy Savage versus Steve Gatorwolf, 1987. So yeah, if you Google Steve Gatorwolf, you're gonna get this Wikipedia. You're gonna see his arrest charge with sexual assault. You're gonna see his videos. Um, oh Jesus Christ! This is a problem when you look up certain things in wrestling. You now get a page that's dedicated to, and I'm not. Oh, I'm not even gonna look at this. But somebody has dedicated a page to, and I'm gonna get off the subject. Pedophiles in professional wrestling.
All right, Dennis, this is a whole nother show you're doing here.
So, well, this is my fault for looking up this Steve Gatorwolf guy. Yeah. If you really want to look up some nasty stuff and find out bad people, look up Steve Gatorwolf. I don't know how he was as a person in real life or as a wrestler, but from what I see, yeah, more squash matches in that guy's future, big time. Um, anyways, but no, I agree. Saturday night's main events, we need to do it. Not right now, I don't think, but
No, no, we're gonna have to cut this one short. I got a gig I got to do in a little bit, so.
yeah, for those who don't know, we got some gigs going on a little later. Um, oh, no comment. I plead the fifth. Maybe I'm gonna watch certain individual on Fightful.
Right.
Shout out to my homie. 3-letter word. 3 letters. It's not DDP. That's for sure.
It's not HBK either.
No, or Triple H.
Okay.
What's like the wrestling name game? Who else has 3 letters?
LOD.
Oh, that's a tag team, but okay. God.
Yeah.
Keep it going. That's how we're gonna end this. So
Oh,
when we crap out. So
for some reason, the A wants to pop in my head. For some reason, there's got to be one with an A.
there is. Damn.
Oh, yeah, APA. There you go. I knew there was one in there.
Okay, FTR.
Oh man. NWO.
Shit.
Yeah.
Shit's not three. DOA, Disciples of Apocalypse.
JYD, Junkyard Dog.
Not bad. No, I don't know. Would HBK qualify, or did you already say HBK?
I said that one already. I said that.
Okay, all right. Y2J.
Yeah, there you go. There's one.
Ooh.
See, you're Googling and I'm not.
No, I'm not Googling. I'm not Googling at all. Swear to God. I'm not Googling at all. I was like, ooh, because I'm like, ooh, I feel like I stumped you. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
'cause
if I even have one.
I'm sitting. I'm trying to come up with something I can't.
Let's see. I'm sure we haven't. We might have run out of them, but I'm sure there's more. I'm just trying to think of three. I mean, you could say the Blue World Order.
You could say RKO, but I mean that's not really,
Yeah, you could. RK Bro is not three. Uh, you said APA. I said DOA. I mean, DX is only two, unless you could the symbol in between. I said FTR. You said LOD. I said GOD. Man, I know if we Googled, we probably would find some stuff. It's very hard to think of. You said JYD. There's one. And you're going to shoot yourself in the foot when you find out if you remember it. But I'll give you a hint. He was the whole show.
RVD. Yeah.
Yep. Now, do I have one? Since I'm giving you all these. Ooh, damn. Why did I give away my RVD?
I don't know. I think
Shit. I know shit's not one of them. Three. The three biggest letters in sports entertainment, WWF. No. SST, Samoan SWAT team.
yeah, that's true too. I forget. Yep.
I did some soul searching trying to save my brain thinking of that one.
I think we kind of went in the attic for that one.
Yeah, I had to dust off some cobwebs for that one. Yeah, because I could think Rock and Roll Express, but that's not three letters. Well, you could say even though they never really went by DOD, Dungeon of Doom.
Yeah, but they never went by the letters.
Bastard. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure later on I'll be like, oh, damn. Well, didn't think of this one, or oh, there's that one. But yeah, I'd say on that note, unless there's something else you want to close out with, I know it's getting late for some of us for us old folks here in the central states, but
Yeah, I think we kind of ran off the track with this episode.
that's all right. Hey, fair enough. At least we got something out there for people this week. So, and it's a little bit different. We kind of talked a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'd be curious to see who won the Timberwolves game, and I'd be very curious. And I think I don't really care about the NFL draft at this point. But although you had a big pick last night,
Yeah. We
you
traded
got the
up.
wide receiver, right? From
Yeah, Chris Olave, yeah, from Ohio State, yeah.
Ohio State. All right, so we'll end on this. I know this is a wrestling podcast, but even Ric Flair will talk about football and that thing. What were your thoughts on that move? As a Saints fan, do you think that's what they needed?
We could definitely use him. I don't like all the trading away picks and stuff that we're doing, but I learned a long time ago. Well, at least when Coach Payton was with us, you'd question certain things, but they always seem to know. Him and our general manager, Mickey Loomis, they always seem to get the right picks. So if they pick them, I said, okay, I'm just going to trust their judgment. Of course, Coach Payton's not with us anymore. So we've got Dennis Allen, who was a head coach with the Raiders for a little while. But he's got a history with us. You know, he was our defensive coordinator for a while. So I'm just going to put my faith in them and in the picks that they've gotten. You know, we picked up him, Olave, the wide receiver. We picked up an offensive lineman. And then I didn't even watch tonight. I was busy with some other stuff. But we picked up I know we picked up another guy tonight. Who was it?
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to every team's individual picks, but I wasn't sure when the Saints moved up. I wasn't sure what they were getting, honestly. But I know he was rated one of the top 2 or 3 receivers in the draft.
Yeah,
So
I want to say that I think the Vikings were going to go for him, and I think we kind of jumped the Vikings and got. I could be off on the pick numbers,
well,
but
the Vikings must not really wanted a receiver then because they traded with the Packers in the second round for the Packers to get a wide receiver.
no.
And
What I'm
even they
saying
said
is,
commentary why did they let the Packers get Aaron Rodgers a weapon?
right.
So so yeah, that's a little off subject, but yeah, I wasn't sure what the Saints needed, honestly.
I
Like
mean,
when I heard receiver, I
we
was like,
we definitely needed an offensive lineman, so we got that. The receiver should. I'm excited about the pick with Olave. I think he's going to bring a lot to us. So I guess we'll see what happens this season.
"Yep, still a long ways to go."
Oh yeah.
But I'd say on that note, we don't got to end the deal. I haven't eaten dinner yet, and got a gig to go to in a little bit. No, I don't have any gigs. My gig is going to bed probably pretty soon and watching some Saturday Night Fever with that famous theme.
You better catch it on YouTube then, because you ain't gonna get the original theme
Oh, are you
on
sure
the
about that?
network. You're not gonna get the original theme on the network.
Damn, you're right. Are you sure about that?
They do use one of the themes, but I think I think the original themes were actual music, you know, that they didn't pay the rights for.
Oh. You know, on a very last note, this is totally random. I don't know Hannibal from Hannibal TV very well, but his channel, I'm surprised he gets as many hits as he gets. And what? Speaking of hits, uh, yeah, he has a segment with his girlfriend or some strippers who he's been taking videos with. I don't quite get whatever. The guy is smoking weed on the street corner. Okay, well, anyways, yeah, this is totally gone play, but Hannibal, I guess he's got his views. Congratulations. All right, anyways, on that note, we're out.
Yep. So hopefully we'll be back Thursday night with the Mochcast.
If not, we'll be on somewhere Friday night with our own deal, but
All right. Well.